Good day, dear viewers. My name is Nargis Kismanova, and today in our podcast we have a special guest, the General Director of Tеңізшевройл, Mr. Kevin Laion. Good day, Mr. Laion. Thank you for participating and taking your time in our podcast. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Nargis, thank you for the opportunity to have this conversation together.
It's a really good experience taking the interview from you. So I would like to start with the questions. So there's a elevated official announcement about your departure from your position. Could you please tell me a bit about it and how you're feeling about it?
So I've actually been the General Director of Tеңізшевройл for the last 4.5 years. And so I am moving on to a new assignment, but it's a little bit sad for me. I've had such an amazing time to be able to be the leader of Tеңізшевройл. And Tеңізшевройл is one of the largest oil and gas companies in the world that I've been able to work at. And it's been a pleasure to be able to be here. So it's a little bit sad for me to be leaving such an amazing organization and such amazing people here in Kazakhstan.
Yeah, that's very sad because you're used to your colleagues, your teamwork, and so this.
Yes, and that's one of the things I think that's the most powerful for TCO is the quality of our workforce and the amazing people that we have working together. Tengiz is, as you know, is quite a distance from Atro. So our workers there work rotational schedules. So we end up with a large number of professionals that work in Tengiz. And that's really what's been powerful for me is the opportunity to work with such amazing people.
So how you said you worked many years in Tеңізшевройл, and we would like to go a bit to the past. Could you please tell us about your first day of working at TCO, and maybe you had some expectations or how they matched or not?
So I arrived in TCO actually right in the middle of COVID-19. So we were right in the middle of the pandemic. It was a difficult time to be able to transition into the role. So on one hand, it was challenging because of having to deal with the pandemic and the challenges that brought to our business. On the other hand, it was fantastic to be able to be joining TCO. We were right in the midst of the construction of our future growth project, which is a very large expansion of the Tengiz field. And so it was partially exciting in terms of my arrival, but also it was challenging because of the management through the COVID period.
Yes, there was the teamwork, and there was a hard times when you need your colleagues nearly and they're working together.
And what's interesting, when I first arrived, everyone had to wear a mask, and so you didn't get to see people's faces. It's hard to connect with your colleagues when you can't see their face. And even most of our work was done online. We're doing through online Teams calls or Zoom calls to be able to connect. And what people found interesting is that when they met me in person, I'm actually taller than they thought because I looked short on the screen. And then when they met me in person, I'm actually much taller than they expected.
That was.
But those are some adjustments as we first started working here in TCO that was a bit challenging. But to be able to be part of a company that was building one of the largest expansions of the oil and gas industry was extremely rewarding to me.
That was unusual way of your, the first time working and everyone in mask. Yes, that was very unusual. So could you tell me please about the most important achievements that you have reached while working at TCO?
So probably the most important achievement I think that has the most impact for Tеңізшевройл as a company is to come back to the Future Growth Project. That project was executed over approximately a 10-year period, so it was a very large, very long project. And we actually completed the project earlier this year. In January of 2025, we declared first oil, which was the first production from the new facilities. That was a very large, very complex project to deliver, and I'm extremely proud of the work that was done to be able to finish the project and bring that project online to increase the production capability at Tеңізшевройл.
So we're talking about your colleagues, the teamwork that you're having. So we would like to talk about the most challenging moments that you had while achieving that achievement.
So it's working at the scale of Tеңізшевройл is very challenging on a daily basis. It's a very large business. There's a lot of challenge. I would say that probably the most challenging part of the business was number one, managing through COVID. We had to manage a very large vaccination program because of the large workforce that we had in Tengiz to be able to keep everyone safe. So managing the project through the COVID period was a very significant challenge. We also had other challenges to face. If you think about in January of 2022 with the Kantar events, that was a very significant impact across the entire country of Kazakhstan, and it was also a big impact at TCO. And so we had to manage through that to keep everyone safe and keep our operations safe as well. I would say that I was very proud of the way that we managed through those challenges, and it really demonstrated to me that the ability to overcome these significant challenges really comes down to the people that we work with. And TCO has some of the best people in the entire oil and gas industry, and our ability to work together as one team is what makes our company successful.
So I would like to ask you about your economical impact while your leadership at TCO.
So as I mentioned, TCO is a very large company, and we're the largest oil and gas company in Kazakhstan. So we do have an impact beyond just our normal operations. First and foremost, Tengizchevroil is the largest taxpayer of the country. So our revenues that affect the support of the national budget is one of our largest contributions. Beyond that, one of the other areas of focus while I've been here is the support of the petrochemical industry. TCO is the sole provider of the feedstock that goes to the new petrochemical plants. So we've been able to support the new polypropylene plant from KPI, which is just outside of Atro in Karabatan. TCO supported the feedstock to that plant. And during my time, we also made arrangements to put in agreements for 100% of TCO's gas production comes to the domestic use of the country. And so we directly support the use of natural gas in the country. In addition to on the petrochemical side, we also have agreements in place for a new butadiene plant that will be constructed in the petrochemical complex. And we're also providing the feedstock to a new polyethylene plant that's been proposed in the industry. So TCO is the foundational provider of feedstock into the petrochemical industry, and I'm very proud that we've been able to support the growth of the economy in that way. One other area that has been a big focus for TCO has been in Kazakhstani content. And this is the use of local suppliers and companies to support our business rather than using imported goods for TCO. We've made outstanding progress in the development of the capabilities of our suppliers here in Kazakhstan. The majority of all of our contractors and service providers are Kazakhstani companies. In addition, we've worked to increase the number of goods manufactured in Kazakhstan that we use in our operation. And currently, approximately 70% of our total spend as a company is spent with Kazakhstani companies. And this is an important part of our continued contribution into the economy, as the spend that we have is spent with local companies. Those local companies create new jobs, they pay taxes, and that additional effect has a strong impact on the economy of Kazakhstan.
So, talking about the social impact that TCO affected while your leadership at TCO.
So in terms of the social impact, I think the biggest part of our impact really is in the jobs that we create and the families that we support here in the Oblast. We have very good quality jobs. We focus on providing good, safe working environment, and we really want to make sure that TCO is a preferred place to work. And we've actually won awards for the best employer in Kazakhstan, and we're very proud of the environment that we've created for people to come to be successful. And that supports the community when we have these very successful jobs that are created. We also support with, I mentioned, the social infrastructure. Since I've been here, we've opened 2 new kindergartens, 2 new schools. We opened up 2 hospitals in Kulsri to support the medical improvements. And we also opened a new stadium in Kulsri. And so one of the memorable moments of my time is when we opened the stadium, and we opened the stadium with a football match between the Tengiz team and the Kulsri team. And I was actually able to be there with the team of the Zhiloi region, and we kicked off the first football game in the stadium. And to have that contribution to the community coming from TCO makes me very proud to be the leader of the company.
So we are talking about the projects, how you said the hospitals, kindergartens. Could you, except of the stadium, do you have another project that is very memorable for you?
So for me, the most important things that we do, let me talk a little bit about the way that TCO support the community. One is the infrastructure projects we built. I mentioned the schools and the hospitals and the stadium. But we also contribute to support local community efforts, and particularly the support for disadvantaged or disabled persons. TCO is very active with our social investments to support those aspects of the society as well. So I'm very proud of those parts of the contributions that TCO makes, because I think that's a big part of our social support to the community.
So how do you think, which projects have been most affected to the local communication of Atrau region?
So the biggest impact, obviously, the schools. I think that the most important thing that we can do as a society is to educate and equip the next generation to be successful. And so for TCO, our contributions into the education sector is what I believe is the most impactful, because we're not just building schools, we're creating an environment for the next generation. And we're creating the opportunity for the next generation to grow skills and knowledge that will actually advance the country moving forward. And creating that opportunity, I think, is the best thing that we can do and to support the community. So while the stadium was fun to participate in, and it's good for the community, what really makes a difference are the schools and kindergartens that we've supported to be able to create that best environment for the next generation.
So we're talking a lot about the local communities. I would like to ask a question about what other projects were accomplished by the TCO about activities that helped people.
So if I think about our impact on the local community and in the Atrau Oblast, a couple of areas come to mind. One is the protection of the environment. Core values at Tеңізшевройл are the protection of people and protection of the environment. And during my time, we've continued to focus on improving our environmental performance as a company. This includes the work that we've done to reduce air emissions, and we reached actually one of the best performing years in our history through the reduction of air emissions from our operations. We've also worked with the community to install air monitoring stations around our operation that are reported into a national database. And we've recently implemented an automatic emissions monitoring system. And that emissions monitoring system is also providing data directly to the Republic. And this shows the transparency of our operations and our focus on environmental performance. We do a lot of recycling, we do a lot of water conservation, and over 50% of the water that we use is actually recycled in our operations. So we have a recycling center to recycle water in Tengiz. And so we're always very focused on how we can continuously improve our environmental performance. Another area, as I think about the environment, last year we had the flooding that occurred in Kulsri. And many of our workers at Tengiz come from the Kulsri region, so many of their families were impacted by the flooding. TCO was one of the first companies to come forward to provide support to the Oblast, and working with the government on a comprehensive response program for the flooding. TCO provided a number of supports, including water and basic provisions. We evacuated about 3,000 residents from Kulsri and temporarily housed them in Tengiz to provide them with a safe place to be while the flooding was being managed. And then here in Atrau, we worked to construct a large dike north of the city to redirect the flooding waters so that the flooding would not occur here in the city. This was really a strong collaboration between TCO and the Akimat of the Atrau Oblast. So I'm very thankful for our ability to work with the government agencies, and most importantly with the Akim of the Atrau Oblast. Mr. Shapkenov has been very supportive to work with us to make sure that we could find ways to help the community working together with the government.
TCOs have a sponsorship of some, how to say, charities funds, like Біздің, like this one. Could you please tell us about this event? about these projects, please?
Yeah, so we support local community projects every year. We have a portfolio of projects that we support, and we really work to support, as I mentioned, either disadvantaged or disabled individuals, and where we can create opportunities for those individuals to be able to develop and support others. That is extremely powerful for us and for our social investment. We also invest in entrepreneurship as well. So we have opportunities to create new companies, new small businesses in Culture in the Jaloy region, and we invest also to be able to grow their capabilities to create new business opportunities in the community. The other aspect is what we've done in terms of professional training. We've also invested heavily in professional training for unemployed workers, and we provide professional training through training agencies that allow these individuals to get an international certification in trade work that allow them to work here in Kazakhstan or even to work abroad. And we've developed, I think it was over 4,000 individuals were able to get jobs based upon the training that TCO is sponsoring.
Yeah, that's really good that you're sponsoring such a good projects. Like we're watching it, and that's really good. That's good. So I would like to talk about, let's consider that again the Ataro people. Maybe you have you been in Kazakhstan before working at TCO?
So what's very interesting is I had been to Kazakhstan one time for a very short visit, and I had come to TCO on a business trip when I was working back in Chevron, and I had the opportunity to see the country. And I came, it was during the month of September, which it was absolutely beautiful. It was the best weather of the time of year, and I really enjoyed the opportunity. So I had a very positive first impression before I came.
The first impression is the important one. Yes.
And then when I arrived in February of 2021, it was about 25 below 0 degrees. It was middle of winter. It was a little bit different environment when I arrived. But it was a very positive experience for me to be able to come in, have that initial perception of Kazakhstan, and then to come in to be able to make Ataro my home.
Yes. So maybe you had some aspects that were hard to adapt to in our Ataro?
You know, what I actually found is that I actually settled in very well. And the reason for that is I really enjoy the Kazakh culture. Particularly the way that guests are treated in the Kazakh culture. It is such a positive and welcoming environment. I've been welcomed to so many Kazakh homes, the beautiful dinners, the beautiful spreads of food. It's so unique to Kazakhstan. But it's, as a visitor and as a guest, it makes me feel very welcome to be here. And then at the same time, I had the opportunity to attend many Kazakh weddings, the celebration of new babies, and even sadly some funerals here. But to see the community, the way they come together, and the way that the Kazakh culture supports the family and the community really resonated with me personally. So it made it easy for me to settle in. And I really feel that Kazakhstan has become my second home. It's a place that I feel very comfortable, and it's a place that I really support the national traditions and values.
Yes, that's in our blood from the beginnings of the Kazakh. I think we really love guests. We have so many, the things and so on. So let's go to the TCO's part again. We would like to know about your insights or maybe experience that you're taking away from the TCO. So
I've had an amazing career. I've been working in the oil and gas industry for 37 years. And the height of my career has been working at Tеңізшевройл. This is the largest business I've ever been associated with. It's been the largest responsibility that I've had in the course of my career. And so yes, I've learned a lot. If I think back and reflect on my time with TCO, the one thing I take away, it's really about how the Kazakh culture of working together becomes part of our business. And the thing that I will always think about is every success that we have at TCO is the success of a group of people. There are very few things that we do as a company that are associated with individuals. It's always about the way things are done together. And to celebrate success as a part of a group and collectively is incredibly powerful. And that is the feeling that I have working at TCO, and that's what I will miss, and that's what I'll be thinking about, that the success of Tеңізшевройл is underpinned by Kazakh culture. It's underpinned by working together as one team, supporting each other and working in collaboration. If I could point to one takeaway from my time here, that would be the takeaway that impresses me the most. And it's really underpinned by the culture of the country. And so I'm very proud to be part of that journey, and I'm very proud to celebrate the successes of the collective organization. When I mentioned we had the first oil from the start of our new facilities, that celebration and that recognition was for the entire organization because everyone had a role to play. And that's what makes me so proud to be part of this company.
That's a great teamwork. So we're talking about the people. Actually, I would like to talk about Atyrau Oblast people. And I would like to start the question with the TCO's environmental focus that changed during your leadership.
So let me start first by talking about the Atyrau Oblast because I'm very close to the community.
We would like to know your opinion, maybe your insights about our people.
I very much enjoy living in Atyrau. Atyrau is a nice city for me because it's large enough to have availability of nice restaurants and places to go, but it's also small enough that you don't have traffic problems and things like that. And it's also a very nice community to live in. So I consider Atyrau my home. And for the last 4.5 years, this has been my home. And I'm very pleased that TCO is such a large part of this community. The majority of our workforce, and we're one of the largest employers in the Atyrau Oblast, majority of our workforce live here, either in Atyrau or in Kulsri, and we work hard to support the local communities. And so I'm very proud that the contributions that we make to the communities are through our operations. TCO is the largest taxpayer in Kazakhstan. Those revenues from royalties and taxes benefit the entire republic. The jobs that we provide the support to the families here in the Oblast. And then we also invest in social support projects to support the community of Atyrau. So I'm very happy to have been part of this community, and that's probably the one thing I'll miss the most is the community lifestyle here in Atyrau.
Talking about the local communities, I would like to ask, do you have some messages to say to our Atyrau or Zhilova Oblast?
Well, thank you for the opportunity. I would say that as I prepare to depart from my assignment here in Tеңізшевройл, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to the communities here in Atyrau, to the Zhilova region in particular, and actually all of the workers that are here in Tеңізшевройл for the warm welcome of me as a guest in the country. I have been treated with such high levels of respect, and I have learned so much about Kazakh culture, and I've really come to love this country. And it's really about the people and the traditions that really draw me to really enjoy my time here. So while I may have had a very challenging job, I've had the best time of my life to be able to spend with the local community, for their support to us as a business, and helping us to advance TCO as a company, but more importantly, just that welcoming of me as a guest and my family here in Atyrau.
That's okay. So thank you for taking your time and sharing your insights, experience. That was really good. Thank you so much.
It's been my pleasure, and I look forward to coming back to Kazakhstan in the near future.
Yes, come to our Kazakhstan. We really love guests. How you know? We really love guests, and you are always welcome in our Kazakhstan.
Rahmet. Thank you so much.
So, dear viewers, thank you for watching. So that was Kisman and Nargis from the program On Time, and see you soon.